Hey, thanks for joining us for this edition of Vision. I'm Lindsay Poe. We've got a great show for you today, focusing solely on the Stennis Institute and Dr. Dallas Breen, who is recently named Executive Director. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Absolutely.
So recently named Executive Director. We'll kind of get to your role in that, but if you would just tell our viewers a little bit about your path to this point professionally.
Professionally, I started here at Mississippi State. I actually worked for the Social Science Research Center as an undergraduate student, and under Dr. Arthur Cosby, I spent the time as an undergraduate student learning about research in the social sciences. I graduated with my undergrad in finance, and Dr. Cosby was gracious enough to hire me on full time. And so during the time at the SSRC, I spent quite a bit of time learning about applied research, expanding my education through public policy and administration, getting a master's and PhD, and along the way, realizing that my passions were really in public service and applied policy research.
Okay.
And so
that's what led you to this role.
Absolutely.
So the Stennis Institute, we're chatting about this before we started the show, and for our viewers, what is it? And then clarify any sort of confusion that we have in the state of Mississippi about what it actually is and not what it is.
Absolutely. The Stennis Institute of Government, the full name is the John C. Stennis Institute of Government and Community Development at Mississippi State University, is a public service and applied policy research center. We focus on state and local issues that face the state of Mississippi. We often get confused with the Stennis Center, which is also on Mississippi State's campus. The Stennis Center is a federally focused public service organization. As I said, we focus primarily on state and local. So the definitive definition is we are state and local, and they're federal.
They're federal.
And there's also, which we get confused for once in a while, is the Stennis Space Center down on the coast. And that's where it's often entertaining to explain to people we are not the rocket scientists.
Right, yes, it's totally different.
And it takes a little bit of the steam out when we say we're not rocket scientists, but we are trying to help the state of Mississippi. So.
Wonderful. Well, specifically then, more specifically, how does the Institute benefit Mississippians, improve the quality of life? You know, that's part of the mission of the university. Absolutely. So can you give us an example, a couple of examples?
Of course. You know, we do a wide number, a variety of things at the Institute. And to single out individuals does not say that one takes priority over the others, but we work to expand the capacities and the information availability for decision makers across the state. And that includes citizens, elected officials, agency heads, et cetera. And so what we really try to do is provide as much information, as much research, as much public service to the people of Mississippi. And we do that in a number of ways. Our most recent initiative is with Delta State University.
Okay.
And we're actually reaching out to another university in Mississippi to help expand the capabilities of the outreach of Mississippi State University. And what we're doing there is we've worked with Delta State University and the Mississippi Municipal League, and we are training elected officials on local government foundational issues.
Okay.
And so just recently I've returned back from doing the first of those sessions where I spoke on the forms and functions of municipal government. And really what that is to give some of these individuals that may not have the opportunity to learn about some of the more intricate steps in what they do, a chance to actually see and learn what they should be doing in their towns. And the way that translates is we actually are helping, we feel is we're helping individuals learn about what they should be doing in their roles as elected officials so that they can make better decisions and actually help grow their communities and inform the citizens.
That's wonderful. Community is a big part of Mississippi.
Absolutely.
And so that sounds awesome. I mean, the next question I was going to ask you, we kind of led into, you talked about a specific initiative that you're obviously very proud of. Can you talk about another one that you guys are working on or that you've worked on in the past?
Sure. Probably the most impactful work we've done in the last few years as far as the research end is our transportation infrastructure research project. Through some funding through a foundation, we were able to work with the State Chamber of Commerce, Jackson State University, University of Southern Mississippi, and the state of Mississippi to investigate the issues facing the state of Mississippi and the transportation infrastructure. And we did a comprehensive study. We put together 400-page reports, which we condensed somehow miraculously into a 2-page executive summary, and that was distributed across the state legislature so that they could have information in front of them to make these decisions.
Wonderful.
So we've over the last few years, we've had numerous calls on that study.
That's awesome.
In particular.
Very proud of it then.
Very proud.
Yes. So I've got several more questions for you, but we're going to take a quick break.
Sure.
Please stick with us. We've got more with Dr. Dallas Breen from the Stennis Institute up after this commercial break.
You know the scene in those popular TV crime shows when the investigators show up? The one where they scratch their heads while trying to figure out who committed the homicide and when? At Mississippi State University, we're solving mysteries behind real-life crime scenes with forensic research that's a first of its kind. Teaming with microbiologists from around the country, we're examining microscopic bacteria that can help solve real murders. So far, our partnership with a major metropolitan medical examiner is yielding results with more than 200 real-life crime samples analyzed. We're learning how microbiomes change and relocate, uncovering evidence in criminal investigations by better pinpointing time of death. Way more exciting than being a TV detective. We're finding crucial answers when they're needed most. Solving mysteries with science, that's worth watching. Our world is changing. The way we work, the way we connect, the way we see things around us. At Mississippi State University, we're agents of change, creating our own bright futures, solving real problems, turning challenges into possibilities, and lighting the way to a whole new world of emerging markets. Through MSU's new state-of-the-art Center for Entrepreneurship and Outreach, we're collaborating across campus, sharing perspectives and resources of multiple disciplines to power dreams. But we're so much more than dreamers. We've launched hundreds of student-led businesses, earning millions in revenue, and impacting our state's economy in new and creative ways. We're the next generation of business leaders, and we're ready for a changing world. How do we know we're ready? Because we're the ones changing it.
Welcome back. We still have Dr. Dallas Breen in studio with us, and we really focused on how the Institute works with the community, and I know we wanted to touch on how they work with students on campus as well. So there's the Stennis Montgomery Association. You'd like to talk about that a bit?
Absolutely, I'd love to. One of the things we pride ourselves at the Institute on is working with students at Mississippi State University, particularly in the College of Arts and Sciences, where we have a student-led organization called the Stennis Montgomery Association. And what we do is facilitate the organization and the individuals in the group through a year-long process. And so the students sign up when they first get on campus, and we introduce them to the idea of policy, politics, and governance. And usually what we get is a group of students who are really enthusiastic about political science, about government.
Right.
And over the years this has evolved, and we've actually started getting students from communications and archaeology, and just people who are, with social media and politics, you start seeing that interest. And so what we do is we take them through community service. We have them volunteer at different things. We have speakers come in and talk to them at the local level, at the state level, so they get to meet the elected officials that impact what they're doing around the community.
Is that just something people enroll in as freshmen, or can you enroll in that?
All the way through graduate school.
Okay, and it's a year program.
It's from the fall semester. We take them to Jackson in the beginning of the spring semester for a day. They meet all of the statewide elected officials.
Oh, neat. That's
and
cool.
they write an essay along the way to qualify them to go to Washington, D.C. And we sponsor a trip for them to spend almost a week in Washington, D.C., where it's not a vacation. It is a day in and day out of work, meeting people, but the students really understand what it's like to be at the state level of government and the federal level and how they interact. And quite often we end up having several students take internships or jobs in Washington, D.C.
I was going to ask. That was my next question. You're very good at this. How many students are going on these trips then?
Typically between 20 and 30 a year.
Oh,
and so
wonderful.
the state of Mississippi has some of the best and brightest from Mississippi State University go to Washington, D.C. and put on their best education hat and sit and learn while they're there. It's a fantastic opportunity.
And they're all from the College of Arts and Sciences?
For the most part. We do have some business school and other colleges across, but primarily it is from the College of Arts and Sciences.
Okay, wonderful. So you're talking about teaching students, you know, the day-to-day role of government officials. Your new role, I know you do a lot, but what's your day-to-day? What's your role like for people at home?
Well, it's not unlike what you'd imagine most a department head or executive level position. What's unique to my position is that I'm often called upon to do lectures and talks on forms of government, like as I did earlier. But to actually get out in the community and work with individual communities. So I have the day-to-day responsibilities of managing a staff, a very, very talented staff, bringing in grants and research and trying to provide some funding so that we can continue to grow and expand and provide more services to the state of Mississippi and to Mississippi State University.
Wonderful. Really quick, and this kind of piggybacks off of my questions about the students. Where is the Stennis Institute located on campus, and how can students get involved? They just go to the website?
That's fantastic questions, and we get that quite a bit. We're actually located in several different buildings on campus. Our primary building is the old train depot building, which is in between the Student Health Center on campus and Simrall. It's also directly across from the Mississippi State Mitchell Memorial Library.
Right.
And so that is our primary building. We also have an annex building, which is just off campus on University Drive. As you're heading outside of campus, just on the left, we have signage out there. And we also have several offices across the state with our consultants and research associates.
Wonderful. Okay, so several places to get involved.
Absolutely.
What do you hope to accomplish in your role? I mean, I know that's kind of a big question, and like, you know, how can you even answer that?
Absolutely. I think if I've done my job correctly, I think Mississippi will be able to look and say the Stennis Institute has helped us grow, expand, understand where we are and where we're going, and help the positives of what the state has to offer and learn from any mistakes that we're making along the way.
Okay. And really quick, we've got a minute left. You've got a family.
I do.
Yes, you're busy on the job.
That's right.
And then you have a wife and a little boy.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wife Lacey, she works here on campus, so we're both Mississippi State. My son, Caden, is a huge Mississippi State fan. You'll see the three of us at pretty much any Mississippi State sporting event or guest lecture series.
And you've been here for like 20 some odd years, right?
Yes.
What keeps you interested in Mississippi?
I bleed maroon.
You bleed
This
maroon.
is a wonderful place to grow, to learn, to raise a family. It truly is. It's one big family. The city of Starkville, Mississippi State University. It's a wonderful community.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And thank you all for joining us on this edition of Vision. We'll see you next time.